Hey, how about it, y'all? You got Hawg. Thanks for stopping by. I'm your Diablo 4 Southern resource. Hey, listen, big question that I had. Are we actually going to see traditional supports like we were used to in Diablo 3? Or are they kind of going to be like they were in Diablo 2, where your player had certain aspects or certain bonuses that he could give to other players? Like, for example, Paladin's conviction aura that he brought to the party. Um, or salvation, stuff like that. So barbarian war cries. So I sat down, I used the D4 planner. Y'all, I know a couple videos ago I showed you a different looking one than this. I prefer this one, d4planner.io. Has a really nice graphic interface. It's really user friendly. Yes, it is missing the Paragon boards, but to be honest with you, I don't think that we know enough about them yet to really even play with them. So I'm using this D4 planner. I'm going to start with a druid, and I'm going to actually see if I can create a true Z character like we would see in Diablo 3. And I know it goes against what I said. Hey, let's not look at the game through lens of previous Diablo series games, but curiosity is killing the cat. I just want to see if I can actually build a face tank character that should be able to take all the damage and provide outstanding party benefits. And so let's dive in and see what we come up with. All right, so before I dive into this, y'all do me a big favor, hit like, hit subscribe. We'll be bringing y'all Diablo 4 content out the complete wazoo. So from here until launch and way beyond, I plan on playing the game for years and continuing to grow this channel. So if you like my personality and like the style that I present to you, please consider subscribing. I really am having a hard time talking today for some reason. So, all right, let's dive into this build. So we're going to take couple different aspects and some uniques. I'll tell you all about those last and how it ties into what I've set up here on the skill tree. So diving into our basic skills, we're going to take Storm Strike. The reason is it generates 15 spirit and it can actually chain to 3 additional enemies. So we want that. Also, it brings 25% damage reduction to us for 3 seconds after dealing damage. Take Enhanced Storm Strike as your next step. That will give us an immobilization. Okay, so 15% chance to immobilize all enemies hit for 2.5 seconds. So we ain't even got out of the basic skill tree, and we're bringing our first crowd control effect to the party. The next step will be Fierce Storm Strike. Storm Strike has a 50% chance to make enemies vulnerable for 3 seconds. So we're on our second step. We're on our second crowd control that we bring. This is pretty awesome. You're going to see we bring a bunch of different crowd control effects to the party. Now, just a quick note about spirit. Yeah, I said this generates a lot of spirit. Don't worry about spirit. It's going to take care of itself on in the build. I know that was a big concern for players in the beta. They couldn't generate spirit. Don't worry about that. So we're going to come down here to our spirit step. And we're going to sink a couple of points into passives here. Don't know why there was one in Landslide. Excuse that. So we're going to take Heart of the Wild. Sink 3 of those into Heart of the Wild. That's going to give you 9 additional spirit. And then we're going to put 1 point into Predatory Instinct. That's an unlock step for Iron Fur. 9% damage reduction while in Werebear form. Keep in mind, we are going to stay in werebear form permanently with one of the unique items that we're going to take. You want damage reduction? We're going to stack a bunch of that. We're going to stack a bunch of Fortify. We're going to stack a bunch of stuff like that to keep us alive. Come on down to your defensive skills. We're going to take Earthen Bulwark, which is basically like a spinning rock shield for you. It barriers you for 54% of your life. Then we're going to go up here, take Enhanced Earthen Bulwark. That's going to make us unstoppable while it's active. And then we're going to take Preserving Earthen Bulwark. Once you cast it, you fortify for 18% of your base life. So fortify, fortify, fortify. We're going to take it everywhere we can because it's really going to keep us alive at the super high tiers. We want to be able to face tank whatever comes at us. We want to try to stay alive and be super damn tanky. That's the goal. We're going to take Blood Howl. Yes, it's not a werebear form skill, but we're going to take it anyway. You'll see here once I show you the aspects. It's going to heal us for 20% of our maximum life. We're going to come down and take Enhanced Blood Howl. That's going to reduce the cooldown. And then we're going to take Innate Blood Howl, which grants us 20 spirit. Now you're starting to see. Come over here, grab Debilitating Roar. This is where you're gonna basically roar, and it's going to reduce nearby enemies' damage dealt by 50% for 4 seconds. So that's huge. It affects you and the party that you're with, whatever enemies that are affected by it. So that is almost equivalent to the Ignore Pain that the Barbarian granted in Diablo 3. Come down to Enhanced Debilitating Roar. That's going to fortify you for 22% of your base life. So you're stacking Fortify from the Roar on top of the Earthen Bulwark. Pretty nice. The last one you take is the Innate Debilitating Roar, and this is going to make every enemy that you hit with it slow by 40%. So we've brought Vulnerability, Immobilized, and now Slow to the party. Come over here, take Ancestral Fortitude, increase your non-physical resistances by 15%, max that out. Take Vigilance, 15% damage reduction for 6 seconds after using a defensive skill. Again, stacks on top of the damage reduction that we're getting from using Storm Strike. So we're stacking damage reduction, we're stacking Fortify. Come down here to your companion. Now, the companion we're going to take here is Vine Creeper. Now, if you played Diablo 2 Druid, you know Vine Creeper kind of sucked, or at least it did in my opinion. It didn't do much. I played with it in normal, and then it went by the wayside. In Diablo 4, it's a totally different experience. This bad boy will actually immobilize everything in the area. So it's got a passive and an active. The passive, he just kind of creeps around. Every 7 seconds, he comes out and poisons somebody. But when you actually cast him, he strangles all surrounding enemies, immobilizing them for 2 seconds and poisoning them for 30% damage over 2 seconds. Not so much worried about the poison, which that's a lie. We are worried about the poison. I forget. I'll show you here in a second. That's huge. The active immobilization for 2 seconds, it's literally the whole thing. I played this in the beta. You come in, every monster that's in the area, I think it's probably a 30-yard radius, boop, they're immobilized. Your rogue comes in, wipes the floor. The next step is going to be the Enhanced Vine Creeper, and that's to give us an additional 1 second of immobilize. So again, we're pretty powerful as a face tank so far. Let's go down to our Wrath skills. Now here we're taking Trample. It's my favorite skill that he's got. You lunge forward, come at him like that. You knock him back. So now we're bringing knockback. You shapeshift into the werebear, which we're already automatically in the werebear, but you become unstoppable in this form. So you can actually break out of crowd control with this as well. So if you get CC'd, you can trample and break out of it because you're unstoppable. You become unstoppable, you charge forward, you deal 27.5% damage, but we don't care about damage, we care about the knockback. We knock back enemies. We've got slow, immobilize, knockback, vulnerability, and then if you knock back enemies into terrain, they become stunned. So that's 5 crowd controls that we're bringing to the event here. That's badass. You want to take the next step, Enhanced Trample. This is an unlocker, okay, for Savage Trample, which will gain you 20 spirit every time you cast it. That's killer. So now you've got 20 spirit coming in from that, and you've got 20 spirit coming in from Blood Howl. Your spirit problems are resolved. We're going to sink 3 into Mending. That is while you're in werebear form, which is all the time. You will receive plus 15% additional healing from all sources. Again, you want to stay healthy. Healthy is defined as above 80%. We want to be healthy at all times. Come down here, take Neurotoxin. Poison enemies are slowed by 24%, so we're bringing more slow After they've been immobilized by a vine creeper, that poison still continues, so they're slowed by 24%, on top of the debilitating roar, which is going to slow them by, what is that, 40%? So they're almost at 60% slow when they're affected by both of them. Pretty big deal. Then take Envenom. Poison enemies take 30% additional critical strike damage. That's big. So, again, your vine creepers doing all this poison and stuff. You want them to stay poisoned, take 30% additional critical strike damage. Now, come down to our ultimate. There was one debate that I had internally between Poison Creeper, the Vine, and Petrify. Petrify just basically encases everything in stone, stuns them, and it's very key that when you're theory crafting like I'm doing here, you dissect what this text says. It says you deal 25% increased critical strike damage to enemies. Doesn't say, damage is dealt. That's huge. We don't care. We can't do damage because we're trying to be a ZDruid. Okay. So that's why I didn't take it. Plus the 60-second cooldown is crazy, and it's just not worth it. Where we can actually come up here, take the Vine Creeper. It's got a 20-second cooldown. It immobilizes everything. It's got a passive that's poisoning every 7 seconds, and it pairs with this Envenom. Poison enemies take 30% additional critical strike damage. Doesn't say from you or your poison enemies. So that's the key right there. So we are going to take, in this area, 1 point into Quick Shift, okay, and 1 point into Natural Fortitude. And the Quick Shift's just an unlock step. We want Shapeshifting fortifies you for 1.4% base life. You're always shapeshifted, so you're always going to have that 1.4% base life fortification. Just additional fortify. Come over here, take all of these in this diamond right here. So we're going to take defensive posture. That increases the amount of fortify you gain from all sources by 15%. You're going to take nature's resolve. 15% chance when struck to fortify for 4.4%. And that's going to be plus 15% that you get from this. Then you're going to go unrestrained. Reduce the duration of control apparent effects by 9%. That is huge for you. It's almost 10% reduce control apparent effects. So, again, you can become unstoppable and break out of that with trample right here. But let's say that's on cooldown or whatever, you're out of spirit. 10% reduction is huge. And I'm a southerner. I like to round up. So 9 is 10. What's 1 point? You understand what we're talking about. I'm not going to be super math nerd and get into, oh, it's a percentage off. We're talking about a roundabout. Then take Thick Hide. Whenever you are stunned, immobilized, or knocked down, fortify for 19.2, so 20% of your base life. Enormous. So 20% of your base life, and then it stacks with this, increase the amount by 15, and you've just got immense amounts of fortify all over the place. You should be able to face tank whatever comes at you. Now, you might not be able to deal immense damage, but that's the point of a Z support character. You're not trying to do damage. You're trying to get all the attention on you and boost your party up. So this brings us to the key passive. You can only take one of these. The one I choose is Nature's Fury. And I'm going to leave it at that, and we're going to go look at the aspects, and then we're going to come back and talk about Nature's Fury. And there's a reason. All right, so for our items and our aspects, we're going to take Harlequin Quest. I'm going to call it Shaco. That's what it was called in D2. I think it's really cool that a lot of these old items are staying in the game. It just makes old players like me feel good. Reason we're taking Shaco is it gains 5 to 8% damage reduction. So we're stacking that on top of the other immense amounts of damage reduction that we're getting. And also we're getting +2 ranks to all skills. That is huge. I guarantee you about every build's going to take this in some way, shape, or form. Next is the Insatiable Fury. This is what keeps us in werebear form. So 100%, and it gives us +2 to all werebear skills. So that's a no-brainer. Then we're going to take Ballistic Aspect. When you have Fortify, which you see from what we just did, we've got it all the time, an immense amount of Fortify, your Earth skills gain +2 ranks. And that's really just going towards Earthen Bulwark. That's really the only kind of Earthen skills that we're using, but still, that's huge. Aspect of Mend and Stone. The duration of Earthen Bulwark is increased by 6 seconds. In addition, killing an enemy with Earth skills replenishes 25 to 50 of your active Earthen Bulwark's barrier. Now, you can play with it and put an Earthen skill in here if you want to actually get that 25 to 50 back. But if you stack cooldown on your items, you're not going to worry about having to replenish that barrier. You just recast. But this is increasing the duration, which is why we want it, by 6 seconds. Then we're going to go to Exploiter's Aspect. You have 20% increased crowd control duration. Let me read that again. You have 20% increased crowd control duration. So we're not worried about the rest of it. That's what we want. So now we can add 20% on the other durations that we have. Huge. Come down, Rapid Aspect. Basic skills gain 23 to 33% attack speed. The reason that we take this is because Lord, I keep hitting my microphone. The reason that we're taking this is when you're in werebear form all the time, your attack is slow. It's slow. If you play Druid, you know what I'm talking about. We want 33% increased attack speed with that, just so we can gain spirit if we need it in an emergency a lot faster, or have a better chance to immobilize or make them vulnerable with that basic skill. So that's why we're taking that. If you don't want that, switch it out for whatever you please. Night Howler's Aspect. Blood Howl, okay? Y'all remember little old Blood Howl right here. Blood Howl increases critical strike chance by 5 to 10%. So in this slot, it's 15%. In addition, Blood Howl also affects nearby companions and players for 3 seconds. That is huge. That's probably going to make this the #1 Z build, if there is going to be one. That allows your party to have 15% increased critical strike chance. That is absolutely crazy. Blood Howl also affects players. So it's not just going to be that critical strike that Blood Howl's getting. It's going to be healing and spirit. So whatever their primary resource is, they're going to gain that. That is huge. That's probably one of the best shouts, roars that he's got. So we're going to go to Smiting Aspect. You have a increased percent chance, critical strike chance against injured enemies. Okay, again, keyword here is you. So that's not for the party. We're not worried about that. We're worried about the second part of this. While you're healthy, which again is above 80% hit points, you gain 25 to 50% increased crowd control duration. Y'all, that is huge. So take this 50% here and then add the 20% from the Exploiter's Aspect. That's 70% increased crowd control duration. Holy shit. So that means I could come in and immobilize that entire group. For how long? Do the math and let me know in the comments. How long can I immobilize with the Vine Creeper with 70% additional? Killer. Next one is Mangled Aspect. When you are struck as a werebear, you have a 20 to 30% chance to gain 1 spirit. Just a free spirit generator. Again, this one you can play with as you feel. This is what I felt the best aspect for this slot was. And then the offhand is, this is going to pair up with our Nature's Fury, like I just talked about a few minutes ago. This is what we're going to go back to. It's a little tricky, so listen. Werewolf skills function as storm skills, and werebear skills function as earth skills for the Nature's Fury key passive. Okay, so key passive is the last slot for a druid. Key passive. Nature's Fury key passive, which is this one. Casting an Earth skill has a 20% chance to trigger a free Storm skill of the same category. Well, why do we want that? Okay, well, if all of our Werebear skills are now Earth skills, okay, let's take a look and see where we're going to get the most benefit. It's going to be on our defensive side of the tree, this little area right here. If we cast a Debilitating Roar, and because this is a Werebear skill, it's now also an Earth skill, but only for that specific key passive. It doesn't work for the whole build, which would be breaking. It would be really awesome if this turned them all into Earth skills, but it's not. Or we cast Earthen Bulwark, which is an Earth skill. You see it right under there, under the rank, it'll tell you. Both of these can now proc a Storm skill of the same category. Well, there's only one Storm skill in this category, and that is Cyclone Armor. So we're going to be casting these two skills all the time. And it's got a chance to freely cast Cyclone Armor, which is just an extra additional buff to our armor, and it's going to knock back the enemies. So another crowd control. All right, so let's count up all the different crowd controls that we bring to the party with this character. So we've got vulnerability, immobilization, we poison them, we stun them, we slow them, okay? And we go unstoppable, and we have barriers for ourselves, and we fortify. Oh, and we bring critical strike chance. That's a lot.
That's a lot. Do you like that shit, baby? That's a lot, isn't it?
What do you think? Do you think this is going to be contender for the #1 support? I think so. I think there's really no way to beat this. But we're going to continue this series. We're going to try to make supports out of everything else. So the next one we come up with will be Rogue, and we're going to see if we can actually recreate a ZDH. So stay tuned for that. Y'all, if you need a community to run with, the House of Hawg, it's my Discord. The link is in the description below. We would love it if you joined us. We ain't mild, we're wild over there. We got Diablo 2 Resurrected, Diablo 3, and Diablo 4 content. Tons of people over there from all over the place. So don't be shy. Click on the link and join. Big shout out to my Patreons, Eros and Ava and the Andes. Y'all are kick-ass. Thanks so much for supporting the channel. If y'all would like to do the same, the link is in the same place down there. It just helps the channel grow, helps me continue bringing content. And by the way, please like and subscribe to the channel. We will continue to bring Diablo 4 until they stop supporting Diablo 4. So join us for the ride, and appreciate y'all watching. We'll see you next time.